The Petrozavodsk Phenomenon, 1977. This story differs from the previous one because it was a mass sighting. It's covering a large territory and including physical traces left behind by the object. The setup: an unusual presence over Karelia. Time: around 4 a.m. Location: the city of Petrozavodsk. Capital of the Karelian ASSR, USSR, and surrounding areas. Residents of Petrozavodsk, as well as settlements in neighboring Finland along the border, woke up or were awake when the sky was lit up by an extraordinary light. A multitude of eyewitnesses, from ordinary citizens to scientists and military personnel, observed a giant, pulsating, bright red sphere that slowly drifted over the city. Eyewitness accounts: color and shape. The object was described as a red jellyfish or a red sun, an orb of fire. It was surrounded by a halo that changed color from bright red to white. Movement: the object moved slowly, silently, and then hovered over the city center. Light effects: thin beams of light emanated from the object, reaching the ground and creating the illusion of gigantic, glowing tentacles. The climax: a rain of beams and holes in windows. At the moment the object hovered over Petrozavodsk, the most inexplicable event occurred. Rain of beams. Many residents inside their homes reported that numerous thin light beams, resembling streams of water but made of light, extended from the object towards the ground. They illuminated the streets, the buildings, and penetrated the windows. Holes in the windows in several buildings, including the Severnaya Hotel and a factory. Perfectly circular holes appeared in the window panes, as if they had been drilled. The edges of these holes were either melted or had an extremely smooth structure, ruling out the possibility of shots or a normal impact. Crucially, the glass itself did not crack or shatter, which would be typical of a collision. The holes looked as though the object had somehow burned straight through the glass. Aftermath and investigation. The phenomenon lasted for about 10 to 12 minutes. After this, the object changed color to bright white, quickly flew off towards Lake Onega, and then vanished. The scale of the event was such that it could not be suppressed. Newspaper coverage, local and even central newspapers, such as Pravda and Izvestia, published reports about the Petrozavodsk phenomenon, albeit with cautious phrasing. Scientific community: academician Andrei Konovask, then head of a department at Petrozavodsk State University, and other scientists actively collected testimonies and examined the damage. Over 100 written accounts were compiled. Official position, the official version for a long time, was that it was an atmospheric phenomenon, or the launch of the Cosmos 955 rocket, which coincided with the time and location of the sighting. However, this version failed to explain the circular holes in the glass and the complex trajectory of the object. What makes this story cinematic? Mass sighting and simultaneity. Hundreds of witnesses in different locations saw the exact same phenomenon. Physical trace evidence: the melted, perfectly circular holes in the glass that cannot be explained by conventional means. This represents a direct physical interaction with material objects. Mystery and ambiguity. Despite numerous testimonies and investigations, there is still no single universally accepted scientific explanation for this phenomenon that convincingly resolves all the questions. The Petrozavodsk phenomenon remains one of the most intriguing and mysterious events in the history of Soviet ufology, demonstrating that UFOs can not only fly but also actively interact with the world around them.